We're doing something different with this presentation. It's going to be imported or exported into Edpuzzle, and that's where you'll do the work. So there'll be no extra worksheet. You'll watch the video, you'll answer questions as we go along, and then you'll turn in the assignment. Hopefully save a step, save some time, make everybody's life a little less stressful. Today we're talking about the temperance movement. The temperance movement is an important social movement trying to change people's behavior, and it starts really in the 1800s and comes to fruition with the adoption of the 18th Amendment, but I'll get to all of that in good time. Okay, let's start with a definition. Prohibition. The root word is prohibit, and when we use it capitalized like that, it becomes a proper noun, and is talking about the ban of sale and consumption of alcohol in the United States. Without a capital P, all prohibition means is a ban. Like, for example, we have a prohibition in Tazewell Middle School on wearing hats in school. It's a ban. That's all. Temperance. The idea is to restrain yourself from drinking alcohol. The literal definition for your notes is restraining from the consumption of alcohol. Well, consumption means we drink it. The movement. The movement is going to be made up of groups of people opposed to the making and consuming of alcohol. Some are going to be opposed for religious reasons. Some are going to be opposed for moral reasons. Some are going to be opposed for reasons that have to do with impact on society as a whole. For example, one of the important groups is the Women's Christian Temperance Union. Now, I think from the name, you can figure out that they were opposed to the consumption of alcohol for religious reasons, since it says Women's Christian Temperance Movement. And an interesting thing about social movements from the mid-1800s through the early 1900s, many of the important leaders are going to be women. Many women were involved in the abolition movement to end slavery. Those women, when that's over, move into two different groups, some working in both, some in temperance, and some for women's suffrage, which will be a little conversation for later on today. Women support the movement for several reasons. One, alcohol causes economic hardships on families. Remember, we're talking about a period of time where there's not a lot of money, a lot of income coming into families. And if dad is stopping off every day at the local bar after work to hang out with his buddies and having a few drinks, that's money that can't be used for food and clothing and housing. Economic hardship on families. And lo, if should dad get arrested because of his drinking, then his bail and all those things add a greater economic hardship on families. Violence at home against women and children. Not an unusual thing. And I would know, my dad had a little problem with drinking. Well, I had a big problem with drinking. And many times when he came home, he took his frustrations in life out on my mother, maybe not with hitting, but verbal violence, and on his kids. So alcohol, since it lowers human inhibitions, it makes people do things they might not do otherwise. And if they're angry and they're frustrated, they'll end up taking it out on weaker people, women and children. Okay, we have a poster. Title says, "Help me keep him pure. Please vote against the sale of liquors." So what do you see in the picture? Who's him? If you're saying him as the baby, you got it right. We're appealing here. This is a piece of propaganda, propaganda being things designed to get you to believe a certain way. And this is using the theme of protecting the innocents in the world. She wants to keep her son pure, and he'll be pure if there's no alcohol available in his community. It also did this, kept political deals out of the reach of women. Because, we talked about the political machines. The guys who were the neighborhood bosses for the political machines, they did all their business in the local saloons, and only men were allowed, which means women did not have any access to power, did they? Women wanted access to how things were being done, how deals were being made. So the solution, before I go into the 18th Amendment in detail, I want to point something out. The temperance movement had been incredibly successful on a state by state basis. They had gotten alcohol bans in lots of states before the national amendment went into effect. The 18th Amendment, which is an amendment to the Constitution, is simply going to do what it says: prohibit the manufacture, sale, and transport of alcoholic beverages. So it means it's illegal to make it, it's illegal to sell it, and it's illegal to transport it. Does it say anything about making it illegal to drink it? No. But if it can't be made or sold, it makes it very hard to consume, or that was the idea. When we talk about prohibition in the next unit, we'll go into more detail about the impact prohibition is going to have on our country. It's not going to accomplish what they want to accomplish. And we're going to have 14 years where alcohol is illegal in this country. And when we talk about prohibition, we'll talk about the social impacts of the ban of alcohol has on society. Don't they look proud? They have just raided somebody and have collected a large amount of what I would have to say just by looking at it is moonshine. Okay? Like I said, we'll talk about the temperance movement first, because what it does is exactly what it says it does. It bans the sale and manufacture and transporting of alcohol. It creates a whole new set of problems for our country, but that's for another day, because prohibition leads to gangsters. That's it.